Hey fellow babies, welcome back to this week's Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net for premium subscribers, on YouTube a week later if you are not a SIFTD.net premium subscriber. This week's first question comes from SIFTD from Substance 104. I have no idea what that means. If Nintendo's NX bombs, could it potentially be the end for Nintendo in the hardware business? And is there a chance it'll go third party and bring its games to Steam? I would say low potential for the NX to be the end of Nintendo in the hardware business. I would say modest potential that it bombs. So I would give them a 60% chance of success. I think they are smart people. I think they've learned a lot from what they did wrong with the Wii U. Are they going to get the Wii magic back? Probably not. But if they go back to a conventional-like console, their only problem they have now is just they're very late in the cycle, so they're not going to sell that many. But you know, could they sell 30 million? Sure, they could sell enough to make a difference and make a profit. They're not getting out of the handheld business, I don't think, until sales drop to zero. I mean, to 3-4 million a year. And that is probably 5, 7, 8 years out. So no, they're not going to get out of hardware. And then is there a chance that they'll go third party and bring their games to Steam? I would say low chance they go third party, but some. And bring them to Steam, never. I think the way that they will go third party is mobile. And I think that what you're going to see is a convergence of mobile and console. So you're going to see the mobile game experience, which right now is very simple, limited by the GPU and the CPU in your phone, become more and more complicated every iteration of phone. And I think Nintendo is debuting on mobile because I think they're sticking a toe in the water. They've announced that they will have 5 games by March of 2017, which is not very soon. So let's assume that this December's launch is right at year end. That is 1 game every 3 months, so not a crazy number of games. And considering the company has something like 1,200 games made in its history or whatever, a lot. But I think that they're testing the water with mobile. I think as mobile processors get faster and faster and faster, that's kind of what the NX is going to be, like a convergence device. I think you'll see Nintendo games launch on NX and maybe end up on mobile later. So think about, the iPhone 10 or 12, the 2019 or 2020 iPhone or iPad, and whether it's going to be as fast as an Xbox One, and it will be. And if that's the case, then this NX device, which will be as fast as an Xbox One, morphs into a mobile experience, and it doesn't matter what processor you use. So yes, I think Nintendo will go third party, meaning off console, but I don't think they're going to make games for other devices. And the way you said it, bring games to Steam, you don't need Steam. I mean, Steam is just an aggregator of other people's content. Obviously, Steam is a fine place to shop because you can find everything, and it's a fine place to shop because the download is so easy. I mean, it's such a seamless process, but you're not going to need that if we get up to fast enough, baud rates, so that like 1 gigabit per second essentially, so that you can stream games. And you're not going to need Steam because you download apps right now. You're going to be able to go to the App Store and download. You're going to be able to go to Nintendo.com and download. Be able to go to Battle.net and download. So I don't think that you're going to see these types of experiences on Steam. They're an aggregator for PC games where there may not be much of a market, and the guys who make the games are glad to have somebody who's still selling their content. But I don't think Steam's going away. I just think that Steam is never going to be the preferred method of distribution for console games. The publishers will probably do it directly. We have a question from Twitter from @theCobMeister, @theCobMeister. Is VR or AR the future of gaming? Which will succeed, or will they both fail? Gaming on your television is the future of gaming. And VR and AR are both going to have their moments in the sun. I think as a gameplay mechanism, AR is more compelling. And I say that because it eliminates a lot of the obstacles that VR has, which is the game has to be designed differently, and you've got to be able to turn around and see things in the game, and it's kind of hard to stay engaged in a 360 experience with you in the game. I mean, some games lend themselves to it fine, but I'm not sure I really want to run around in a first-person shooter. I kind of prefer to sit on the couch. So, some games don't lend. Madden football, I don't actually want to be the quarterback. I think that would be kind of hard. So, you're still going to have console games. AR's different because you can add an experience, and I actually think the demo that we saw with HoloLens at E3 was pretty compelling. Minecraft set on a coffee table, that's kind of cool. If it actually works that way, that's going to work. But the truth is, they're both going to have their place. I think they're both going to probably do pretty well. AR is probably a lot less expensive to pull off than VR. I think AR fits into a lot more games, and so I think AR is more game friendly. I think VR is more novel, more interesting, more immersive, lots of things to it, but it's chicken and egg. You're going to need a reason to buy that headset, and it's not for most people, it's not going to be games. For gamers, it'll be games, but for my mom, not so much. So you've got to give older people a reason to buy a VR headset. And my mom's not with us anymore, but when my mom was, she had one of these because she wanted to call people. She's not going to get a VR headset. She's not around anymore, but she wouldn't have because she didn't understand why she needed one. We have a question from Twitter from @ClassErig. Are microtransactions here to stay, or will publishers eventually go overboard and lose business because of them? I think they're here to stay. And I think that some publishers will go overboard and lose business because of them. So I think that there's a real interesting tension and dynamic within $60 games. People don't want to feel that they have to buy anything to play the game. They want to feel like right out of the box, the game is complete and you can do everything in the game. And I think that, although it wasn't really microtransactions, but we saw this with Evolve, with kind of the day one add-on content, and people were upset. I don't think the guys, Turtle Rock guys who made Evolve did anything wrong. I don't think Take-Two did anything wrong. I think they just miscalculated on what the reaction would be. But the lesson there is don't release add-on content the first day. Make people feel like you worked hard to get it. Now I'll tell you a little known secret, and you can look this up. Destiny: The Taken King is something like a 9 megabyte file. You can look it up. You can actually see how quickly it downloads. Most of that content was in the disc. It was there when you bought Destiny. Now they unlocked it, and I'm sure they refined it and they added some stuff, but it is a little dinky file. And that's because Bungie, who took forever to make that game, I mean literally 4.5 years, Bungie built a lot of stuff into that game, planning on different level caps with different DLC. And I'm sure they added all sorts of art, they added weapons, they added stuff. But the point is, it was not a 9 gigabyte file, it was a 9 megabyte file. It was like a mobile download. It was like a little thing because they had a lot of stuff already built into the main game. I think that's a smart way to make games. But in the release, they didn't piss anybody off because Bungie is Bungie. They're very smart and they know how to reel you in and keep you coming back and loving them, and that's cool. So same with microtransactions. You can go overboard if you do things where people feel like, oh my God, if I don't spend this money, I cannot possibly play the game. That pisses people off. If it's bacon wrap on your weapon, or if it's unlocking a dance so you can dance on somebody's grave, yes, people will pay for that. They don't feel like they need it in order to succeed in the game, but they love that kind of stuff. So more dancing on the grave, bacon wrapping the weapons, Snoop Dogg doing the voiceover. Bring all that on, because if you don't like Snoop Dogg, you don't buy it, who cares? It doesn't change the game at all. So again, there are smart publishers and there are dumb publishers. And again, I apologize, I don't mean to say that Take-Two's dumb, but Evolve pissed people off. There are publishers who are sensitive to to the needs of consumers and publishers who are less sensitive. Activision is very sensitive to it. So no, I don't think they will ever alienate consumers. I'm pretty sure Take-Two won't do it again after Evolve. I think there's just an art to how you deliver this stuff and keep a balance so that the consumer doesn't feel ripped off. And so no, I don't think they'll ultimately really go overboard. Okay, we have a question from SIFTD, and you're testing my knowledge here. GB Packers 25. What does Nintendo need to do with the NX to make it a commercial success? The easy answer is third-party support. And where I think Nintendo lost its way, and the reason that I have been so harshly critical of Nintendo leadership in the past, is they were too focused on first-party software and not focused enough on keeping third parties engaged. And I don't mean to suggest that the business people in Nintendo weren't nice to third parties. Of course they were. They were accommodating and they did the best they could. I mean, the hardware was sufficiently different that it was expensive to make third-party games, and third parties found that their games did not perform well. I don't even remember what they called it, but EA made something, it was called All Play, that's what it was called. So EA had this All Play, and it was like big head sports characters, and nobody bought anything. I mean, poor Peter Moore, I remember him talking about how big that was going to be, and he's still there, and it wasn't. So I remember their head of marketing, I think she's gone. But that was just a disaster. You know, and Ubisoft made Zombie U, remember that classic, you know, for the Wii U. I remember you could like use the gamepad to aim, you know. Oh my God, that's pretty clever, because that's a really natural way to aim. So anyway, third-party support is the only way the NX is going to succeed, and not being the Wii U. So the Wii U with the gamepad just sucked. It just extra stuff. It made your arms tired. It had a crappy battery life. It didn't add a lot to the gameplay. And like the best games don't even use the gamepad. And so the NX, no gamepad goes a long way toward helping it succeed, but third-party support so that you should be, as a gamer, indifferent among any of the three consoles except for first-party content. Because you should be able to play Madden and FIFA and Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto on any console you wish. And then the deciding factor becomes whether you can play Nintendo content or Microsoft content or Sony first-party content. And Nintendo lost its way by not having GTA on this console, not having FIFA on the Wii U. And if those aren't on the NX, then the NX is doomed before it launches. So that's the way to make it succeed. My bold prediction for Pachter Factor this week is I think that Destiny is the first of many games that are going to have perennial expansion packs. So I think that instead of typically 3 and out, 4 and out, you know, within 1 year of release, you get three or four expansion packs and then the game is done. I think you're going to see companies release expansion packs for 2-year-old and 3-year-old games. Now, the one game that's actually shocked me that has no expansion packs is GTA 5. Game's been out for 2 years, no DLC. The excuse is that the Rockstar guys are hard at work on GTA Online, which is really cool, but come on. Build the DLC when you're building the game and have some ready. That's an opportunity missed. And the truth is, everybody who played GTA 5 isn't playing online. Some are not. Some of the people like GTA single player. They don't want to play multiplayer online. And some of them would love extra missions and different places to go and different vehicles. So I think that publishers owe it to their fans to keep the DLC alive. That game, because its install base is so huge, could actually see DLC in 16. But the games that I think you will see DLC beyond the first year, the first one will be Call of Duty. I think that Activision recognizes there are still something like 10 million people playing Call of Duty Black Ops 2. That is a game that came out in 2012. We've got at least 10 million people still playing multiplayer. Why was there no DLC after 2013? Activision's smart enough to do that, so it might not be Black Ops 2 that gets the second year of DLC. It will be Black Ops 3 for sure. I think Treyarch gets it. Those guys are really good. I don't know if Advanced Warfare has enough multiplayer. Probably does. You'll probably get Advanced Warfare DLC next year. You'll probably get Black Ops 3 DLC in 17. So that's my bold prediction. All right, pillow babies. That's it for this week's Pachter Factor. You can watch it as a premium subscriber to SIFTD.net, real time when we post it on Saturdays. If you are not a premium subscriber to SIFTD.net, we are going to let you see it for free a week later on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. If you have questions, submit them to @MichaelPachter on Twitter or to @SIFTDGames on Twitter, and be sure to include the hashtag PachterFactor. Thanks again.